here in April, I did a talk on React and Flux and the whole pipeline to build that up, like a whole stack of developing website. And part of it was linting, and part of it was module building, all those cool things. So I've changed the way I do that. I think it's far superior, but of course I would say that because it changed. So if you're at that talk, all this is going to be about is like the first half of that last talk with new, better things, I think, my opinion. So ESLint. Does anyone use FX cop or style cop in C#? So basically it, while you're developing, lets you know you're making mistakes. Whether you have unused variables or didn't declare a variable properly or types or set of typos, either one of those. That's the whole point. And so you enable which rules you care about, because sometimes with like those FX cop, it's hard to customize. Like if you have an old legacy app and you turn that on, you're just going to start crying and wilt away in the corner. Because it's going to be, you're never going to even put a dent in that thing, right? So you're just like, everyone's like, let's just forget it, it's okay. The next time we build a whole new app, we'll do it from the beginning. Because when developers do rewrites, it's always perfect when they do a rewrite, right? They don't make the same mistakes again. Even though the same guys that ruined it in the first place, now they're going to do it totally better and totally different. So basically there's three options. You can turn error, warning, or just you don't care about the rule. And for each individual rules you care about, you decide what you care about. So if you have an old like code base and then you want certain rules to be applied there because you know if you turn them all on, you have the FX cop problem of it's going to be too much noise, right? So you can just focus on some more important things instead. So you can, at runtime, you can create your own rules. You can create custom rules for it if you want to. So look for specific type things, where if you really care about something in your style guide, you can create your own custom rules to look for those things and raise those warnings. It's so important, I stated it twice. See, I told you there's going to be typos. Any mistake you see, I'll try and convince you is on purpose. So these are kind of rules. Obviously, there's way more rules in this. But things like there's no caller, so nothing calls the function. So you got unused functions. It's really good. It really gets rid of a lot of the crappy code. Like when you have resharper on, right? Resharper like grays out the function because nothing's calling it. Same thing with just yells at you saying that thing's doing it. No graying yell. It just says get rid of this thing. Which we keep a lot of things on number 2. Like number 1's annoying because number 1 kind of gives you a warning, but doesn't stop you from building it. But it's annoying when you see this long list of stupid warnings all the time. So to me, it's either you turn it on or off. Warnings are just a pain because they still give you all that noise in your command window if you're using your command window to build your modules and run your linting. But things like you put an else statement and there was just a return in it and nothing else after. So like you don't need an else statement here. Just write an if statement, return out, and just return after it's done. Stuff like that. Actual code things. But also we talk about cyclomatic complexity, how many parameters you pass to a function. Say you don't ever want to see more than 5 parameters passed to a function. Because instead, at a certain point, you want to pass an object, right? You want to have 12 things. Like even when you have like a static language, you know that there's string something, string something, string something, but you really don't want to have that many parameters to a function or method. So things like that. So you can really specify that. You can, like what we kind of did was we said, let's create all the new JavaScript goes in this folder here. Let's just pretend the other stuff doesn't exist. And everything we write goes in here, and this we turn on very strict rules. And we're like, oh, there's other cool rules here, like how complex your code is that we can also add. So we added those, and all of a sudden, all the errors came up, right? And then we fixed them, and of course the project manager is so happy we spent extra time fixing style rules, right? That sells, man. Style sells. And so Webpack, when I did the talk before, we talked about Browserify and what that was. Webpack is way better. Right, Mark? What do you think? Webpack or Browserify?
It's awesome.
Pardon?
Webpack is awesome.
It's good, right? Okay. If he agrees, it's got to be right. Like that's 2-0. Like we win. So Browserify and some other module things, like you use Browserify, the problem was you have to rely on a bunch of other libraries to get your stuff done. You have to rely on gulp or grunt. You have to write on some other thing that does stuff for your less file. You have to do something else that does something. What WebPack does is, the guy who built it said, this is annoying. I'm just going to build something that takes care of all that. And don't have to worry about it anymore. So less SAS. I hope we get into it, but if not, I'll talk about it. So run your tests, all those things that run unit tests, right, for program correctness. Does all that. Oh, sorry, yeah. Optimize common code, so you can make common bundles. So everyone knows the annoying part of single page apps is that initial load, right? Like sometimes it's like it's a 2 meg file that's going to download. And it's going to spin the first time you load it, and everything appears, right? It's like a little magic trick. What this allows you to do is create common code. So if you go to one single page app, and let's say you're doing a React app, which like by that picker from before said you should always use. It's very smart, that picker. If you're using that, then you know that you always use React on every page. So why load it in your giant bundle every time? Just take that piece out. Or maybe there's other common code you have that it'll take out. But the other cool thing is async loading. So async loading is if you have a single page app, what it allows you to do is, say you have like a router set with all different routes, you have your list. I'll show you a quick app if you have time later. But you'll have a list of stuff, and then if you click on it and go to edit mode, then they have a bunch of other variables. It's a single page app, but it won't load the extra JavaScript and all the extra code until you actually go to that route. So even though it's a single page app, it won't load everything unless you want it to. Which gets rid of that initial, like single page apps are the best way to build apps now for front end, I think. It's kind of one. But their annoyingness was that initial load was always the crappy part. Once it's up, it's obviously fantastic. It runs really quick because all you're doing is just AJAX requests, right? That's all you're doing. But the initial load is annoying, but this helps get rid of that pain. I think that's it. So there's one more. I think if I have time, we'll see how good look when we get to it. So it has this thing called hot reloading, or it helps with Webpack. What that is like people have used like BrowserLink in Visual Studio, where it kind of refreshes your page and all those kind of things for you, but it kind of refreshes the whole page. So what this helps you do is if you have like state within your page, so you fill out a couple text boxes, open up a modal, and you change your code, it'll keep that all stored up in memory for you. So you don't have to like refresh the page, type this thing again, hit the button to launch that thing, and type more things. Oh, I made a spelling mistake. I have to go back to the beginning all over again, right? Don't pass go $100, the whole thing all over again. Like how much time I spend doing that. And it's just a waste of time. It's frustrating and annoying. Okay. So one of the things I didn't like about TypeScript, it didn't let you use Babel. So Babel was called ES625 at first. Then they changed ES6 to ES2015, which is the next version of ECMAScript. And the guy actually made a good point. He goes, I guess I had to change the name because I had to change my name of my company every time we upgraded the version of JavaScript, which is kind of annoying, right? You want to be, then launch the new version. We're called Babel 7 to 6 now, or 7 to 5. So it allows you to use next generation JavaScript today. So I think that what I missed with this, sorry, let's go back to that. So if you were at the talk before, I probably talked about common modules. So that allows you to write common JS modules, where you do like require, so you can start breaking those into a modular part of your app. That allows you to do that and build it for the web. So you can actually have files with 4 lines of code in it that's for one specific exact little piece of domain. And you don't have to keep that with everything else. You can just say this thing is for that, you run unit tests against that little piece of code, and that makes that a lot simpler. So anyways, the other thing with Babel is it loads everything. So it'll run your JSX for you. It loads any of that ES6 stuff if you want it. It's all there. Okay, so ES6. So ES6 or ES6, what do I call it, had some things that fix the language. Okay. That's the whole goal of the next versions of JavaScript, the ECMAScript part of it is to fix some of these things. So they fixed this, which you don't get the benefit of that right now in TypeScript. I think they're working on it to get it in there to allow you to do it. But we've seen that before, right? For us, even that map. Like, if you ever seen a map function, everyone know what a map function is? Anyone know what a map function? One person knows what a map function is? 2 people. There we go. All right. The rest of you know what a map function is. I'm sure some of you do. Just ignore that. So map function basically operates an array, and it transforms every element in the array into a new element in a new array. So odds basically turn everything into that. Kind of evens, it turns it into a list of odd numbers. That's all it really does. But the big thing is the arrow, right? Like, what does that look like in C#? Anyone? Lambda, thank you. So lambdas, hey, look, it's a grown-up language now. It's got lambdas in it. And but again, old browsers. So this works in IE8. Everything I'm showing you here works in IE8. If you have to support IE8, I feel bad for you. I feel your pain because I do too. It really sucks, I know. But these cool libraries like React and Babel, they all allow you to work towards it. So again, it sucks that the user has to use IE8, but at least if you're working with large organizations, sometimes you have no choice. And so all this stuff I'm showing you works all on IE8. And so that's basically your lambdas, so nice, right? Everyone's used to that. Brings the real functional programming to JavaScript, which is a functional language, so you would hope. And this. So the machine is the same lexical scope as the things around them. So that works now. This .name will work. As long as you say those functions. And it's liberal, so talking the break about how ES6, right? They support classes now. They have a real implementation of it. I didn't show that here because I think you guys know how I feel about that. So you can do it if you want. And super, again, a lot of people hate the idea of using super in JavaScript. There's really good arguments for it. They should. Because debugging nightmares can happen from them because you have to like, track through where the hell it's all happening. That can be a problem. But so, everyone's seen ES6 before? Does this look familiar to people? Anyone? Probably not. No one's raising their hands. Cool. So, if you know anything look weird with that function toString? Does it look different at all? Odd? Something's missing?
Function declaration.
Yeah, function declaration. Cool. So you don't have to say function this equals toString anymore. You just say function and just that's it. It's a little less verbose, a little more clear, a lot less plumbing code. And then of course computed dynamic property names for all the times you need that. You can do that. It's fun. So everyone knows about hoisting in JavaScript and scope within a function. So like usually when you declare a var, it basically hoists it to the top and always so if you do like a for loop or say var I equals 1, it actually doesn't declare it in the for loop. It declares it at the top of the function that it's in. So this fixes that, it keeps scope in place, and then you kind of lose scope. Right? If you're in an if statement, you do var x equals 3. First of all, don't do var x equals 3, obviously we all know that. It's a terrible naming convention. Var y is much better. So that, you know that in JavaScript, that doesn't matter, because it still puts it in the whole function it's in. It's very confusing, especially for people coming to the language. With some of the mistakes they made in the early part when they designed the language in 2 weeks. So if you look at let x equal, well, let x there, so this is its own thing. Const x is its own scope thing. So if you say x equals foo, you're going to say you can't do that because it's a constant. It's like a real language, it's grown up, right? So x bar, of course, foo bar, you can't let it go, right? You have to keep using it. So that's fine because it's declared with let, so you can assign it. And then that's going to be a problem for you because you already have declared net scope. Things that most languages have that make sense that JavaScript didn't have. Now it's starting to fix it. So Babel lets you use this stuff today if you transpile it to a bundled file with something like WebPack or anything like that. Allows you to use that stuff today in old browsers. So that's the talk part. I think we have a little time, right? There's some time. Or is that it?
Yeah, we're going to have early time.
Okay, sweet. So I can show a few minutes of a demo, an app that shows, hopefully it's working, I think it is. Didn't work in London when I did it in London. I couldn't get the app to work at the end. It's hot reloading, so we can get into that. But so GitHub, Twitter, whatever, if you want to contact me, ask me questions. Don't be afraid to. Just don't email me. Like I said before, I think you were here before. Those are based on how much I like them. Although I should put an inbox logo there now because I actually like inbox. It's actually much better than Gmail. It's worth the switch in case you have the chance to switch. Switch to inbox instead of the Gmail app. Okay, so I'm posting, so I have a code repository that I'm going to show you in a second. It's on GitHub. And I'm going to have to post some links to it. I'll have to do that on there about where you can learn some of these things, like why people don't like objects, like object create, or why people don't like classical inheritance in JavaScript, and some of like the real good JavaScript gurus out there who know their stuff, who've built lots of large-scale apps. And to me, that's where I learned everything from, because nobody. All right, so any questions before I show the next part? We all good? I know we all agree with everything I said, right? Totally. Okay, so hopefully this works. I'll be so happy if it works. And then no